My name is Roger Isaacs, and I have spent 45 years in the public relations business, so I'm not a Hebrew scholar, but I spent another equivalent 40 years parallel to that working on a book in the biblical area. The book propounds a theory which attempts to reinterpret certain phenomenon which are described in the Bible, in the Hebrew Bible, in terms of modern physics and chemistry. It discusses certain laws, actions, reactions in terms of the people living in biblical times and relative to those laws. To be specific, in Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and some of the following books, there is mention of various objects used by the Israelite high priests from the time Moses and the Israelites fled Egypt to go into Canaan to the reign of King David. And those objects include two stones called the Edut that Moses was said to have brought down from Mount Sinai after receiving the laws from the Lord. According to the Bible, the Lord commanded Moses to make a box or ark to house those stones. On top of the ark, there were two cherubim. And there are a lot of theories about what the cherubim were, what they looked like, but nothing's really known about them or what they were for. The ark itself was placed in the inner sanctuary or inner sanctum of the tent of meeting or the tabernacle, which accompanied the Israelites on their journey all through the wilderness to the land of Canaan. Now, in addition to the commandment to make the Edut, there were commandments to make a breastpiece and items called the Urim and the Thummim. They were put into the breastpiece, and onto the breastpiece was an ephod. The ephod was fastened onto it. Breastpiece and the ephod contained various jewels, and the apparatus was all worn by the high priest. Now, in addition to that, the priests were commanded to make various sacrifices in the tent area. There was a description also of a cloud that settled on the ark. And that cloud settled there whenever there was communication between man and God. Much later, it covered the ark, that is, the cloud did, when it was installed in King Solomon's temple. My book discusses these items, the sacrifices and the cloud, in relation to the communications process. It comes to entirely different conclusions than have heretofore been accepted. This was accomplished primarily by discovering new translations for many key words used in describing what the people were observing and experiencing at that time. For example, words generally translated as holy, glory, clean, unclean, sin, atonement. They don't seem to have these meanings. I came to some of these conclusions by employing etymology. I looked at similar words to the Hebrew in Assyrian, Babylonian, Eblaite, Greek, Egyptian, Hittite, Sumerian, Ugaritic, and I've gotten a different slant on their possible meanings. And also some of it was just accomplished by plain logic. And the result was startling. By using the above techniques, I posited that the cloud was the substance through which the sound waves were transmitted to the ark. The ark then acted somewhat as a radio receiver. The cherubim on the ark, I'm saying, acted as an antenna. I'll also explain how and why this cloud was extremely dangerous. Remarkably, when it touched unprotected people, the resulting reaction was exactly the same as radioactive burn, which is translated in the Bible as plague of leprosy. Also, I'll show how the sacrifices and other materials acted as a protection against that danger. Therefore, they had a chemical purpose, not one of expiation. I've discussed this theory in detail in the book. Each object and process is examined in light of the new translations. And then, as in a puzzle, Each chapter fits the pieces of evidence more tightly together until a total picture emerges.